Hey, welcome to Central Region's SLC Kickoff event. I want to thank you first off, and also really recognize you for making the choice to be here today. You know, there's a lot of places that you could be, things you could be doing on a Friday afternoon and early evening. And hey, you're choosing to spend this time investing in yourself and bettering your opportunity here. And I really think that's awesome. So kudos to all of you. I remember my first conference. For many of you, this might be your first conference. I remember mine very vividly. I had really no idea what I was getting into, or also how fantastic the meeting was going to be, and actually very pivotal for me in my career. And you know, if you're just getting started with us, you're probably in the same boat that I was. You know, whoa, what's this all about? What am I getting myself into? But it's going to be an amazing event. We have an absolutely phenomenal lineup of speakers for you. So initially, you may have seen an early agenda. Mike Muriel, our region manager, was set to give this message. He had a medical procedure today with anesthesia and is unable to be here. He's going to be perfectly fine, routine procedure, but unable to be here with us. Second. There we go. You're blessed with my mug and my voice now for the next 40 minutes. So let's have some fun. So this is SLC Kickoff. What does that mean? What's SLC? SLC stands for Strategic Leadership Conference. And so your managers will be getting together in a few weeks for the only national event of the year. There's only one national event for managers every year. That's SLC. What does it mean for you? Well, next week, specifically next Thursday, September 16th, kicks off the only national push of the entire year, push period, where you get to go up against reps from all over the country to compete in a sales contest, not only for bragging rights and team pride, but also some really awesome cash and some awesome prizes that are going to be awarded. So that's what SLC is. We'll be talking more about the push throughout the event. In fact, one whole message by Dane Espegard is dedicated to you crushing the SLC push. So, hey, what are we here to do today? I want to talk a little bit about why we're here and what we hope you gain from the event. But then I'm also going to ask you what your purpose is for being here and create some outcomes for you for today. And that's when the workbook is going to come into play. You received this workbook through email from Cindy Mormon. Maybe we can drop it into the chat. There we go. Jen Young is always on it. And we'll be using that in a little bit. We're not going to do it right away here, but just wanted to give you a fair warning. We're going to be diving into that in a few minutes. So what are we here to do today? Let me pull up the agenda. The first thing that we're really here to do is to learn. So you're going to be hearing from some of the best of the best in the Cutco world and in our business on how to really execute selling at the highest level and to make the most of your opportunity here. So you're going to hear from Seth Kinzer on selling Ultimates. Seth was the #1 seller of Ultimates in our company last year. You're going to hear from him. By the way, the last 6 weeks, Seth sold somewhere in the neighborhood of $350,000 of Cutco in the last 6 weeks. So you're going to hear from him. You'll hear from Lexi Mitchell on selling at school and maximizing your schedule. You'll hear from Jack Ryan, one of our top branch managers in the nation, on position of choice. Dane, as I mentioned, will be covering crushing the SLC push. For the last decade plus, Dane and his office teams have been dominating push periods regionally and nationally. And then to wrap us up today, you'll hear from our Northwoods division manager, Jason Heinritz. It really is a phenomenal event. And that's the first thing that we're going to get to do today is you're going to learn. The second thing is to connect. One of the reasons we do these events is for you to connect with people all across our 14-state region and to begin to build your Cutco network. And actually, in just a few minutes, you're going to have an opportunity to pair up in a breakout room and get to know somebody new. One of the activities that we're going to do in the workbook, you're going to share some thoughts with a partner and meet somebody new. Next, we're going to motivate and inspire you. What we really want is for you to launch yourself into activity this weekend and then set yourself up for an outstanding SLC push period. I hope you have demos set up for tonight and for this weekend, because the demos that you do right after this event will be some of the best you've done in your entire career to this point. And then lastly, we just want to open up your eyes to what this opportunity could be for you if you take advantage of it. And certainly Jack Ryan's message a little bit later today will touch on a few of the opportunities available to you beyond just the sales rep position. So that's what we're here to do. Those are the things we're wanting you to get out of this. But let's dive a little bit deeper into the real reasons that you specifically are here and start by establishing purpose. So if you can pull out that workbook, hopefully you have it printed and you can write right on here some of your thoughts. But if not, maybe one more time, let's drop that in the chat for everyone so that you can begin. And we're going to start right on the first page here. So open up that workbook. And on the very first page, let's just look at the questions here. And I know you all can read, but just follow along with me and I'm going to read it to you as we begin here. So establishing purpose. Whenever you attend a class, workshop, or a continued training, it's important to identify why you're there and establish outcomes and objectives for yourself at the event. So the question here is, what are your outcomes in being here today? Or more simply, why are you here? What do you hope to learn? And how do you wish to grow? And then going a little bit deeper on that is, why is your continued growth and evolution so important? So I'd like you to go ahead and take a couple of minutes. I'll give you about 90 to 120 seconds, about 2 minutes. Brian, if we can pull up a little bit of mood music, awesome. But just jot down some ideas on why you're here today, what your objectives are, your outcomes, what you're hoping to learn, and how you're wanting to grow. I'll give you, again, about 90 seconds to 2 minutes here. And then I'll ask for a few people to share with the group their thoughts on purpose. And of course, district managers, please do this as well. You'll be pairing up a little bit later also. And maybe take a look at that agenda. Who are you most looking forward to hearing from? Think of how you're wanting to grow inside the business and maybe even outside of the business, grow personally. Once again, if you don't have video on, I know Garrett said he's having connection issues, but for everyone else, if you don't have video on, please do turn it on. Again, in a few minutes, we'll be pairing people up to do some partner shares, and we'll want you to be able to see each other for that. So please do turn your video on if you're able. All right, let's go ahead and just have a few people share your thoughts on purpose here, establishing purpose. Maybe let's use the hand raise emoji. So that, let me go to gallery so I can see everybody. Who would like to share just a couple of thoughts on why you're here today, how you're wanting to grow, and what you want to learn? Oh, so Chambi, I will start with you, but you can go ahead and actually, for everyone, use the emoji. If you go to reactions at the bottom, you can use emojis there, and I can see your hand. So Cordell, you'll be up next, but Chambi, go ahead first.
Want to grow and expand, get ready for the push. Learn information for that. That'll be my purpose, and then learn from other salesmen that have been really good and been successful. And then I want to learn from other managers as well and get different perspective and angles. I'd say that's my main purpose, probably. Being here.
Awesome. Thanks, Chambi. And you've had a really great last 4 or 5 weeks coming back into the business. And so it's great to hear, and I'm excited for you to do that. Thanks for kicking it off. Cordell, go ahead.
I wrote to grow my personal company network, get to meet people in our company, we get to learn from the best, and we get to be a part of like Cutco, more involved in the culture of Cutco. Most of the people here are very serious about it, so it's kind of cool to meet people that are just like us.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Cordell. You were sideways, so I was trying to see if Head up.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm sideways. I don't get it. But
That's all right. No, don't
I'm
sweat it.
sideways.
Don't sweat it. I'm just having fun with you. Kashmir, go ahead. Or is it Johnny? Can you unmute?
Yeah,
There we
sorry. My bad.
Go for it.
So I'm here today because I want to enhance my communication skills and learn more how to, convince people how to uh, how,
Yeah, no, that works.
sorry, I'm just not that.
That's okay. Hey, you're here to improve that, right? So that's fantastic. Thanks for sharing it. That takes a lot of courage. I really appreciate it. And you will get that today for sure. Okay, let's go one more with Jay.
I think I am here to learn more leadership skill, develop it, and try to do what is the best way to sell the products and get better outcomes on it.
Perfect. Awesome. You will definitely get that too. So thank you for those who shared. Definitely appreciate that. And we're going to go into the next section now. And everyone is actually going to get an opportunity to share this next part, not with the whole group, but what we're going to do after we take some time to write is we're actually going to pair you up in groups of either 2 or 3. And you'll have an opportunity to share. And what we're going to do is talk about strengths. So go to the second page of the workbook and the next set of questions here. And what we're going to do here is we're going to think of a time in your life where you have overcome adversity, or it could be someone you know has overcome adversity. Anytime we start something new or maybe push ourselves to do something we've never done before, we're going to experience adversity. Selling Cutco is that new thing for many of you, or if you've been selling for a little while, maybe selling more than you may have ever in the past could be your new thing right now, or it could be something entirely outside of Cutco too. What I know though is that success leaves clues. So if we can think of a time in our lives in the past when we've overcome adversity, it's going to remind us of our strengths, and it's going to remind us of the tools that we have available to us to persevere through adversity in the future. So let's take a look here, and I'll read if you can follow along. So stories of overcoming adversity, excuse me. So think of a time that you or someone you know succeeded through adversity or learned a new skill. You can certainly reflect on experiences outside of Vector. But what was the situation? What did you overcome and how did you do it? How did it make you feel? And then why was this experience such an important moment for you in your life? Next, what traits, what resources, skills, or mindsets were required for you to succeed? And then finally, what did you learn about yourself? So take a couple of minutes here. I'll give you 3 minutes on this one because there's a little more involved. So let's take about 3 minutes just to write down some thoughts on a time in your life when you or someone that you knew overcame adversity. So Brian, if we can get a little bit of music going again. I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to write on this one, and then we are going to go into breakout rooms, and you'll get paired up with either 2 or 3 people, and you'll share your stories with others. And I'll tell you how that's going to work in a second here. But go ahead and take about 3 minutes right now and write down some thoughts on a story of overcoming adversity. If you're just joining us, Jen just dropped the workbook again in the chat. We're on page 2. So this could be something, school related, academic related, where you really pushed yourself in a class and got a really good grade that maybe you hadn't gotten in that subject before. It could be in athletics, where you pushed yourself beyond what you'd ever achieved before. Maybe it's a health challenge that you overcame. For those that have been around a little longer in Vector, maybe it's something Cutco related. But any time where maybe the possibility of success seemed somewhat slim, but you pushed through and were able to succeed. What happened? How did you overcome it? Try to really feel the emotions that you felt at that time. Maybe the emotions initially with the uncertainty, but then also the feeling of pride, of accomplishment, of success. How did that feel? And then remember these last parts of like, what did you bring to the table during that time? What traits or resources, skills, what mindsets helped you to persevere, helped you to overcome that adversity and succeed? And then is there anything you learned about yourself or learned about the world? Give you about 60 more seconds here. All right, cool. So wherever you're at right now is perfectly fine. If you wrote just a little bit or are still not done writing and have a lot more to write, both are perfectly fine. What we're going to do now is we're going to break up into either groups of 2 or 3. So you might have 2 people in your group, you might have 3. And we're just going to share our story of ourselves overcoming adversity, or if you wrote about someone else that you know overcoming adversity, that is perfectly fine as well. We're going to take just about 2 minutes each to share. So someone in your group, keep time, make sure you stay on time. We're gonna break out for basically exactly 6 minutes to give the groups of 3, 2 minutes each to share. So you'll be coming back into or leaving your breakout, coming back into the general session. We'll call it right at 4:25. You don't have to do anything, by the way. You'll be automatically forced back in here once we're ready to have you back. So go ahead and share that story with your partner. While you're listening, be an active listener. Really be looking for, hey, what traits did they bring to that time? Why is this an important moment in this person's life? And what can I even learn from their experience and from what they're sharing? Okay, so we will break out right now. Again, about 2 minutes each to share, and then we'll join back up. Hopefully you learned something about someone else. Hopefully you learned something about yourself, or maybe something about the power of the human spirit. And I think we all can attest that there's many stories in our past of overcoming adversity that we may not think of often, but when we reflect on it, we really remember how powerful we are ourselves and how powerful human beings are in general. So thank you for doing that. I had you do that for a couple of reasons. Number one is that your ability to tell a story is going to help you sell more Cutco. At the same time, your ability to listen is also going to help you sell more Cutco. Listening to your customer and really reading, their body language, their tone of voice, and how they're feeling about things is going to help you sell more Cutco. I'd like to take an opportunity right now to ask a couple of people to share with the group their story and thoughts surrounding overcoming adversity. So is there anyone that feels you have a particularly compelling story, or maybe someone that heard a compelling story that wants to nominate someone? Garrett, I know you're off video, so I'd prefer to have somebody that's on video. Sorry. So let's go ahead and start with, go ahead and raise your emoji hands. We'll hopefully get to 3 or 4 shares here. Let's start with Emily. Emily, hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for being willing to share here. Go for it.
I overcome adversity when I learned that I had MS. multiple sclerosis. It's a autoimmune disease that messes with your brain. It was really hard because I still I still can't do most of the things that I loved to do as a kid, like rollerblade. I can't rollerblade anymore. And I overcame it by believing in myself and the doctors and my family by saying that I can do it. You can get through this.
Awesome. Self-belief is an important thing to have. And at the same time, Emily, it's sometimes a difficult thing to have, isn't it? And I'm sure were there times in that process that you didn't believe?
Yeah.
But being able to tap into that belief is what helps you through. So that's really powerful. Emily, I really appreciate you sharing. Thank you. Is it Aaliyah? Is that how I pronounce it?
You got it.
Awesome. Perfect. 1 for 1. Aaliyah, go for it. Thanks for sharing.
So I'm actually experiencing a little adversity right now. There's about a solid 90% chance I have COVID. And I just felt it. I was running interviews. My second was like, girl, are you okay? Like you're like about to vomit and you're getting through this like a champ. So just pushing through. And actually, I wasn't sure if I was going to make it here tonight, but I'm here. I'm glad I'm here. And we're just going to keep pushing through and hopefully I get better soon.
Well, thanks for sharing. Certainly take care of yourself. If at any point you do need to step away, I don't think anyone will judge, but we're all praying for you and hoping for health. And hey, how about that 10% chance that you don't? That's a possibility too, right?
There we go. Way to look at it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you very much, Aaliyah. Adam, thank you very much. Go for it.
So my adversity would be my very first job I ever had. I worked at a local sandwich shop in my town, and I had never had to deal with a rude customer before. Everyone I'd ever dealt with was really nice and really forgiving if I ever made a mistake. But one time I did make a mistake on an order, and I got an angry person who was just screaming and yelling at me, saying that I was horrible, that I can't even make a stupid sandwich. What am I going to do? And after trying to work through with her and understand, hey, what did I do wrong? What can I do to improve? I realized I made a mistake, but I don't know what else I could do. And so I actually asked my manager for help. And that taught me the fact that I really can't, in a professional world, you can't really do everything by yourself. You always need to have someone else with you, just because trying to do everything on your own is going to end up in failure, but people in the company are always willing to help and support you. And that's something that it still is hard for me to get used to, asking for help or just saying, hey, I need extra assistance with this, but it's something that has helped me grow a lot. And I know I'm going to continue to use it even after college and after the next few years.
Yeah, for sure, Adam. And what I can tell you here is that the top performers at every level, at the sales rep level, assistant manager, branch manager, district manager, CSP, all the way up to division manager, the top people are the ones that actually ask for the most help. And so that's certainly true here. And there's so many people that are willing to help and wanting to see you succeed. So thanks for sharing. And thanks for bringing that to the table, that willingness to ask for help. All right, I have time for one more. Sarah Crook, what would you like to share?
So about 5 years ago, I had brain surgery, and I had to relearn a lot of my fine motor functions. And so something that I've always been really good and loved is playing the piano. And I had to relearn how to play the piano because I had all the knowledge, but I didn't have that skill anymore. So I had to keep going back and keep going back to the basics. So I started back with scales and just reteaching myself what to do and how to do it. And I just learned to keep having persistence and not just quitting when it's hard, because right when it was hardest, a week later is when my family said that it's just kind of started coming back and they could tell the difference that it was there. So I just
sorry, were you finished?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't mean to interrupt. That is so powerful. I'm reminded of the adage, it's always darkest before the dawn. When it's hardest is when it's about to become easier and you're about to become better. So thank you, Sarah, so much for sharing. And thank you everyone for sharing. I hope you learned something about yourself through that process, about someone else. And again, just the power of the human spirit to overcome adversity. All right, let's go to the third page here. And this is the wheel of life. And I'll go ahead and show it briefly on screen here, even though I think everybody can see it in their handout, but just in case, this is what it looks like. This is the wheel of life. And, one of the things I've loved most in my time here at Vector has been the amount of care that my leaders have given to me in helping me grow, not just professionally, but personally as well, and really in every area of my life. And I really believe, and actually I know this based on what I've seen in past experience, that reps who sell Cutco during the school year get better grades, they have more successful relationships, they have a higher level of physical health, of spiritual health as a result. And why we're talking about this in a business setting, a lot of these kind of life elements, right, is because the opposite is also true. If you're having success with your schoolwork, your relationships, your health, your spirituality, that's going to help you do better here too. And so that's why we want to talk about this. So turn to that third page where you see the different categories of life. And the way this works is it's basically what you want to do is go around to each category and rate yourself on where you feel you are in each area. So if you've got it printed out, you can go ahead and kind of fill it in on the lines here on a scale of 1 to 10. If you don't have it printed, just look at it on your screen there. If you opened up the workbook, maybe drop the workbook one more time for everybody, just for this one. And you can just jot it on paper, rate each area 1 through 10. And so the wheel of life becomes a great tool to help you improve your life balance. It's a really easy way to quickly and graphically identify the areas of your life that you need to devote more energy to, more time to. And it also helps you understand, where you might want to cut back a little bit if one area is, you're lopsided towards one area of your life and maybe not giving the other areas enough attention. So the first thing to do here is to go around the circle and give yourself a rating of from 1 to 10 for each category. Okay, so you've got your career, and that could include you here at Cutco. This is a job. For some of you, this is a career. For some of you, it may become a career. We don't know, but it could include that. For some of you, it may also include, your future career aspirations, what you're working towards. So it could be your field of study, what you're working on in college, okay, or just where you are on your career arc, your path towards the career that you're wanting. Okay, so there's career, there's financial. That's obviously where you feel you're at with your finances, with your money. Spiritual, this doesn't have to be centered around religion, although for some of you it may be a big part of it, but it could just be general spirituality. Okay, how you're feeling, inside, checking in with your heart and saying, how's my spirit doing? Okay, so spiritual health. Then there's physical, that has to do with, your physical health, your physical body, your diet, exercise, how you feel physically. Intellectual, so what you're learning, how you're growing. Family, that one's pretty obvious. And then social. And so that's your relationships, right? Your friendships. And so rate yourself from 1 to 10 in each area. And I'll give you about 60 more seconds to complete this while I'm finishing talking. Just give yourself a rating on each area around the circle. By the way, on that social one, and maybe even on the family one, I like to think of quantity and quality. Okay, quality of relationships, not necessarily quantity, because more is not always better when it comes to friendships. But what I mean by quantity and quality is the time that you spend, right? So are you spending the right amount of time on your familial and social friendships, social relationships? And then what's the quality of that time like? Are you spending time that's meaningful, that adds value, that brings joy, connection, love? Okay. So rate yourself 1 to 10. And then what I'd like you to do is to just identify 2 categories that you really want to improve this, I'll call it semester. okay, or over the next 4 months for those that aren't in school? What are 2 categories of your life that you'd really like to improve in, make progress in the next few months? Once you identify those 2 categories, what are the 1 or 2 habits that you can add into your routine, be that, a daily routine, weekly, even monthly routine? What are 1 or 2 habits that you can add in that will move you from your current rating, your current number, to really where you want to be? And actually feel free to go ahead and throw in the chat, hey, I want to improve my physical life. Here's 1 habit that I'm going to add to my routine to do so. I want to improve my spirituality. Here's 1 habit that I'd like to add. What is this called? This is called public accountability. In fact, I'd like to give just a couple of people, I'm coming up against the time, but we got a couple of minutes left, a couple of people to share publicly here out loud, what's 1 category that you'd like to improve in your life, and what's 1 or 2 habits that you're going to add that will help you with that. Who'd like to share for some public accountability? All right, Brady, go for it.
I want to improve my physical life, and I think I can do that by working out at least 4 times a week.
Boom.
Yeah.
You ready to commit to it?
Yeah, trying to avoid that freshman 15 right now.
Okay, beautiful. All right. Chambi.
I'd like to improve my financial area of my life, like just be more in tune and in sound with stocks and investing, and just study that more. That's the habit I want to gain in my financial area of my life.
Awesome. Chambi, another way is do more demos. That'll help you make more money too. But I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's not a criticism, just an addition. Ethan.
I want to improve my physical life, and after school every day, I'm going to try to fit in time for working out.
Awesome. I like that you say I'm going to instead of I'd like to. Perfect. That's accountability. 2 more, Josh and then Evan.
I want to improve my financial life by saving 50% of everything I make.
Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you. I love that. And then Evan, bring us home.
I will improve my spiritual aspect. I feel I am very down to earth. I need to always be doing something. I don't know if that's the right term, but I want to meditate 4 times a week, and I know some places to do so. I'm going to put it to work.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And thanks to everybody for sharing. So we did stories of overcoming adversity. We talked about the wheel of life. The stories of overcoming adversity should give you confidence and really power, personal power, that you can overcome obstacles that you'll face here with Cutco, with the SLC push, and also honestly elsewhere in life, anywhere in life. And then knowing where you are currently in the different areas, categories of your life, and where you really want to be in those areas, that can put you on a path for growth and for development, both personally and professionally. So, hey, the SLC push is coming. I'm very excited for you all to experience the thrills of success and also the struggles of adversity that this SLC push will bring. But let's have an awesome event. Thank you very much for your time.